Over the last 6 years, I've made over 1000 pens. What the urushi pen maker writes with? What is my collection? I will show you today my 10 most used and favorite pens, and a few more like a special mention because they are important for some reason. They all are part of my collection of roughly 35, maybe 40 pens. I shrunk it down from over 100 to this number. And let's go through them very briefly. I will start with urushi pen, obviously. It's Nakaya Dorsal Fin version 2 in Aka-tamenuri, urushi, of course. It's got broad nib, but I customized it with Jose from Nib Lab to cursive italic, and I use it every day. I use this pen probably the most often of my urushi pens. I have few other Nakayas and platinum urushi pens, and I do not take care of it in any special way. I just keep it on my desk, I drop it in my backpack, I take it to pen shows or to meetings, and it's mostly because urushi is very durable and much more scratch resistant than most people think. I know that this pen is a grail pen for many of you, and it used to be a grail pen for me, and I still like it very much. Next pen is another pen from Japan. It's Pilot 823 brown Demonstrator. It's fitted with broad nib again, and again customized by Jose to Architect. One of best writing pens I have right now. It's vacuum filler and it has shut-off valve, so I can close the valve when taking the pen on the plane with me and not worry about any burping or anything like this. And it's a pretty important feature for me. Next pen is Pilot Capless, so pen with a click, and it's very convenient in the studio and during pen shows to write down notes, write numbers for clients or prices or notes on urushi curing. I find myself using it pretty often in all chaotic environments because I can just click it and not to worry about the nib. I do not need to find the cap or take care of it and put it somewhere safe or cap it. It's just very convenient in chaotic situations. Next pen is Pilot Custom Heritage 92 by Pilot, of course, and I use it for writing certificates. So I use it at least several times a week, and it's inked with waterproof permanent ink by KWZ. I received it from Conrad when it was still a prototype ink. And as I said, I use it to write my certificates. It's a fine nib, gold, just a simple, humble pen for writing certificates. Next one used to be my grail pen. Actually, not this exact one, because first I bought M1000, so it's a Pelikan Sovereign M1005 because of the rhodium plated nib. This one is a Stresemann version, and it's got extra fine nib. And for me, it's the best size nib in this pen. This nib is huge, it's slightly flexible, maybe not flexible, more like soft. And the only nib which worked for me, the only width of the nib which worked for me in this pen is extra fine. It's a piston filler, of course, as all Stresemanns from Pelikan. I like its size, it fits me perfectly. So this pen, Decapod, and the next one I will show you are perfect size pens for me. Next one is also from Germany. Looks like standard 149 Montblanc, but this one is a calligraphy edition with flexible nib. I was disappointed with this nib initially, but the more I wrote with it, the better the nib got. The nib is getting better and better with time. I thought initially that they do not make the nibs as they used to have anymore, but it's not exactly true. This nib right now is really fantastic. Another one is also from Germany again, and again it's Pelikan. I used to have over 10 Pelikans M800, Sovereigns M800, and it's the only one I left. I sold all of them, but this one is a burnt orange. I like this color immensely, and the cap is not pure black, but it's more like very, very dark brown. And I fitted it with IB nib, so very white stub-like nib from Pelikan, extremely white nib. I like writing with it for fun. Another Pelikan, technically not M800, but the same family, is Pelikan Toledo M900. I kept this pen despite getting rid of most of my Pelikan collection because of the craftsmanship. Most of pens today are made by machine. Montblancs is injection molded plastic. Pelikans are injection molded plastic. Platinums are injection molded plastic. Most of pens are made by machines, and they do not carry any human factor with them. With Pelikan Toledo it's something different, because this part of the pen is made by hand and by an artisan who then signed the certificate, and there is some soul in it, and it's a little bit heavier, which suits me. It's fitted with broad nib. It's uninked now. I cleaned it a few days ago. Writing with it makes me feel good. Next one is a representation of not just one pen, but a group of pens. It's Platinum 3776. I have 12 or 13 of them, with all the nib Platinum offers with this model. So from extra fine to music nib, including the soft versions and all the fancy nibs they offer, and in several different colors. I like this pen. It was one of my first go-to gold nib pens, and for a very long time I recommended this pen as a first gold nib pen for anyone. Last pen in this list is another Pilot Custom Heritage 92, which is important for me because I modified the nib on this pen, and it was the first gold nib I have ever modified. It was before I started with urushi. I was very into fountain pens, and I bought very cheaply a gold nib pen, but with very badly misshapen nib, and I fixed it, and I ground this nib to cursive italic, and it writes beautifully today, and I use it from time to time, especially for journaling. And that's the 10 most used pens by me. But I still have a few pens to show you because they are important for some other reason, although I don't use them too much. Some of them do, but not too much. First one is the oldest pen in my collection. It's Mabie Todd Swan, made in USA during First World War. Ebonite pen with over-under feed. So the feed is both under and over and under the nib. The nib is extremely flexible, and then this type of nib feed provides a lot of ink to the nib. And I kept it mostly because it's so old. It's well over 100 years old. Next pen is my first urushi pen, so the pen which started it all. Nakaya Decapod twist in Kuro-tamenuri. It was my first urushi pen I have ever bought, and it started my interest in urushi, it started my research, and it led to me making urushi pens. Next one is Graf from Faber-Castell, a classic with gold nib. It was the pen I bought, I used for a few weeks, and then it stayed in the drawer. It was in my times as a white collar. I was a director in the bank, and I had a habit of buying myself something nice always when I finished some important project. So sometimes it was a watch, sometimes it was something else, but this time it was a pen. This pen was used for a while, then it went to the drawer, like most pens, directors and lawyers and other types like that, when do with fancy pens they receive as a gift or buy even themselves. They don't use them, they just treat them as a status symbol. And it stayed in the drawer for 15 years, I think. I dug it up when I got hooked into fountain pens again through my son dysgraphia, and it's a story for another video. And I dug it up, I cleaned it, I fixed the nib, and I started using pens again, and this pen like reignited my love to fountain pens. Next one is Visconti Homo Sapiens bronze. It was my first grail pen, so the first pen I really needed to have. It was a pen I was watching online, and it was the time spending a few €100 on a fountain pen was absolutely absurd for me, but sooner or later we all knew we will pull the trigger. And I did it, and it's still with me. I like it. I do not write with it too much anymore, but I kept it because it's like a pretty important piece in my collection. The same could be said about the Scribo Feel. I always wanted, it was many years ago, I always wanted to have one of them. I ended up having 6. I sold most of them. I had a lot of problems with them, probably mostly because of the construction of the section, but I love the nibs. I do not like the mechanical side of the pen and the quality of making of the construction, internals and trim of the pen, but the materials are great and the nibs are fantastic. I left this one because of the color, and I just wanted to have one of those hills still in my drawers. And the last pen is another representation of group of pens. It's TWSBI Diamond 580, and I had at least 20 of them, and I still have at least 5. I use this pen to influence other people, to give them away to people I want to infect with love to writing with fountain pen. They are all demonstrators, so you can see the ink inside. They're all piston fillers. They have pretty cool nibs, and they look great. And mechanically, it could be better, but they are really nice. And it's a great pen as a starter pen, and it replaced Lamy Safari in this capacity in my idea of spreading fountain pens and creating new fountain pens users. I gave away at least 15 of them, and they work really well in this regard. That's it. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions about my collection or my inks, pens, or the history of my pen collecting or non-collecting, I invite you to write a comment. And one advice: if you have troubles, you suffer from pen hoarding curse, or you are a pen collector and you want to downsize your collection, start making pens. Since I started making pens, I stopped buying them. I got rid of most of my collection. I shrank from 120 pens to, as I said, 35, maybe 40 pens altogether, and it's really worth it. Obviously, I'm joking, don't make a competition. I'm Michael, and you're guests of Aka-tamenuri Studio, and I hope to see you again soon.